Greetings and welcome TechG friends to this F-18 Charlie Harpoon tutorial. So what we'll be looking at today is a utilization of the Harpoon in both of its modes, BOL and RBL. We have a simple Type 52C Chinese destroyer set up for this simulation. I'll be running everything in active pause so I don't overshoot the target. To set up the weapon, as with most ordnance, master arm to on, air to ground mode engaged, and because ships are moving targets, we should always have our radar set to C so we have a general idea of where our target is. Bump out the range. Alright, there he is. There's our brick. Gonna make the radar soy and then just do a quick sensor select right bump to track the target. So there we see him. He is moving on a westerly heading of 263 degrees, and he is doing right about 19 knots. For our info, how we know where the target is in relation to us, obviously we can see him out there, little east of north. We'll get targeting symbology on our HSI and SA saying he is, from our location, 002 degrees. Let's go ahead and set up our Harpoon. Hit HPD. We'll be doing this first launch in its default mode, BOL. Something to know about the Harpoon is you have to set up each individual station. So whatever I do to this missile here on the right wing will not correlate to the other ones. Ships are usually heavily defended by close-in weapons such as Sea Whiz and also point defense missiles, so any high missiles will most likely get shot down. So I'm going to go ahead and set the missile to low, and then I'm also going to program this missile. As you can see, it's default search. It'll begin searching right off the rails at 0 miles. It'll self-destruct at 60 miles, and it'll track on a bearing of due north, otherwise known as 360 or 0 degrees. So our target right here is due north. I'm going to keep this missile with the same bearing of north. Searching right off the rails is fine. Distance to target is 65.2. So with this current setting, the missile will destruct before it gets to the target. So let's go ahead and change that. Hit UFC, destruct, and I'm just going to put in 80. So now we know the missile will make it to the target, and if it does overshoot for some reason, it won't cause collateral damage. Let's go ahead and hit step to the next missile. Set its flight path to low. Search right away. Self-destruct at 80. And bearing, because the ship is traveling from the right heading to the left, I'm going to offset its search by just a little bit. So we have due north for the first one. Let's go 3 degrees, so 3, 5, 7. That missile is set. Let's go to the next one. Flight low. Destruct at 80. Bearing 3, 5, 4. Alright, and final missile. Flight low. Self-destruct 80. Search bearing 3, 5, 1 degrees. Now I offset these was so the missiles end up getting a wider spread. Because if I kept them all on, say, the exact heading of 001, they would play follow the leader and go in a straight line, which makes them very susceptible to Sea Whiz. So now with everything locked in, just a simple weapons release. Bruiser 1, Bruiser 2, Bruiser 3, Bruiser 4. All the missiles are off the jet. They immediately begin sinking because I have their flight path set to low. And as you can see there, they're starting to get their arc. First missile is the most right. Then they start getting a little bit of separation. Missiles leveled off at just about 500 feet. Or excuse me, missiles leveled off at about 5,000 feet. It will fly on that for a little bit until it actually picks up the target. It's about 56 miles out. Go ahead and speed this along. Alright, so right there we're getting locked on, meaning that the Type 52 destroyer has detected the missiles and is now firing. For this particular ship, that's about just under 40 nautical miles. Let's continue. Alright, so the missile has started to dive. It has acquired the target. Right about 35 miles. Missile is diving to the deck. We can see elevation levels off right about 60 feet above the water. All the missiles have followed suit. They're now on the deck. We got a nice spread. And now it is below the radar of the ship. As you see, it's no longer launching any more missiles. These ones have already been destroyed because it's below the ship's line of sight. And you see we got about a 1.5 mile separation for the missiles. Let's go ahead and speed this up. The missiles will begin to cluster together as they pick up the track, but they won't exactly be nose to tail. Our missiles are just coming into view, staying below its point defense missiles. We'll see the Sea Whiz open up here in just a little bit. Alright, there we go. You can see because they're spread out, they're simply engaging the first missile when they can. Missile staying low to the water, making it hard to hit. They intercepted the first one. Intercepted the second one. And we got a hit with the fourth one. Obviously, with any Harpoon launch, firing them closer together would be better than a couple seconds ripple off. But as you can see, we hit our mark. Alright. Because I have unlimited weapons on, our missiles have reloaded. Let's go ahead and switch the mode to radar bearing launch. So now on this one, you don't have to program anything. It's just going off of your radar track that we have locked. So as always, step through all the missiles. Make sure each of them are programmed. Alright. So we can see we have mode R/BL, radar bearing launch. Flight is still low. The terminal will be a skim, which means it won't pop up and hit the superstructure currently in ED. There's no damage difference between hitting the hull and hitting the upper decks of the ship. And the seeker head is set to look for a medium-sized vessel. As we only have one ship out there, the size is really not important. So let's go ahead and target is locked. Missiles are armed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, these bad boys are away. As before, they level out at 5,000 feet. Speed this up. We're getting locked by the ship. So one important thing about current radar bearing launch, that I don't know if this is an ED bug or if it's how it's actually designed. As you can see, we're right about 30 miles to the ship. And the missiles were set to low, as with last time. But we're still sitting at 5,000 feet. So as you can see, we have a lot more missiles out on us, or on our harpoons. And currently our missiles are still flying in tractable range. Shot down, and shot down. Again, I don't know why this is, but BOL, the standard mode, where you have to manually program it, seems to be the most ideal way to attack ships. Obviously, in using harpoons, it's a standoff weapon, designed so you don't get attacked by the ship. The missiles are doing all the risk. Fleets are usually heavily defended. They should be done in swarm attacks with multiple flights, and most ideally with flights attacking from at least 90 degrees difference. So that way you have a chance that the point defense missiles, should they be more advanced, are looking one way while another flight's missiles are coming in from the other way. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.